Superleague Formula. Race of the season gets underway. What a start by Craig Dolby. And Dolby comes through to win race 1 at Silverstone.
Great job, Craig. Well done.
Defending champions, and they might come out of the round with no point.
A great drive by Sebastian Bourdais. He wins race 2. Dolby wins €100,000. Oh, contact Porto! The Lyon car is in trouble.
You win the race. Great job, great job.
Oh, can they make it? My goodness, that was close. Chris van der Drift for the Olympiakos team is going to take the second win of the day here.
No, we won the race.
Just one of the drivers with his eyes fixed on that goal of winning the championship. A championship title that will see the winner go away with an incredible prize of €1 million. Superleague Formula welcomes you to the third stop of its 2010 season. Just 1 week ago, thousands of spectators soaked up the atmosphere created by 18 hungry drivers fighting to control their 18 ferocious machines. Assen city centre in the Netherlands was mobbed by fans who strained to catch a glimpse and revel in the sound of this globally unique racing concept.
We come from a difficult race in Silverstone. We learned a lot during the month, and then it was very fantastic in Assen. It was incredible. I hope to concretizate everything here in Magny-Cours. It's a different track, quite fast, but I think if we have a good car, we can be in top 5.
Reticent out of the car, not so reticent behind the wheel. Italian-born Davide Rigon, driving for a Belgian club, reconfirmed his world-class driving talent in Assen after having won the overall title in 2008. Je vous souhaite bonjour from Magny-Cours in the heart of France. At first sight, this is just another laid-back rural scene. Yet it is home to a 40-year-old racetrack that has hosted Formula 1 Grand Prix since 1991. National heroes Sebastian Bourdais from Olympique Lyonnais and Franck Montagny from Girondins de Bordeaux will take on the rest of the world in Super League racing to entertain the home fans.
Well, it's a track I know very well, but I haven't been winning so many races over there. I've never been so lucky, so I guess we'll keep fingers crossed and hope for the best.
I mean, it's very fun track, very attractive track. Like, it's very fast and the corners are super fast. But I hope the race director is gonna watch very well the lines, because into chicane you can cut a lot and you can gain a lot of time. So it's gonna be a bit tricky, but we'll see.
As you've just seen, some of the toughest rivalry exists between the flying Kiwi, Chris van der Drift in the Olympiakos car, and the Italian stallion, Davide Rigon, competing for Anderlecht. And watch out for drivers that suffer technical or tactical mishaps at Assen and Silverstone. They're determined to enjoy a more favourable roll of the dice this time.
Well, hopefully here in Magny-Cours we can start our championship. Last time I was here was in F1 and went fairly well. Yeah, what else can you do? You're a pro. You just have to move on to the next, and you know, I've proven I can win races in this series, so we'll just see if we can do it again.
Hi, we're here at Magny-Cours and we're on the entry into the Adelaide hairpin, and I'm going to talk you through it, how to attack and how to defend.
Liverpool not where he wanted to be. Oh, a big dive down the inside by Davide Rigon.
Right, now we're on the attack entry into the Adelaide hairpin. We're on push to pass, car in front. You know, we're kind of deciding where they go. For me, I'd go inside, but if they defend, I'd go outside on the push to pass. Over 300 kilometers an hour and braking about 100-meter board. You know, you're really late on the brakes. Hopefully you'll come out the other side ahead of him, but this is the main area for overtaking. Right, now we're on defensive. This is the hardest part of any kind of race, and especially here at Magny-Cours, because you know, you might not be on the push to pass and the guy behind might be, and you know, you've got to decide whether you go narrow, whether you go wide, and you know, then you've got the braking zones. So You know, you have to really be clever and put the car in a defensive position, and just have to keep pushing all the time and hope he doesn't come past.
And now Tottenham's going to go for it. He's down the inside into the Adelaide hairpin. That's second place, thank you very much. Tony's going to come back and retake it. Wonderful racing.
So on attack, here we are, and as you can see, it's a very tight corner. At this point here, we're already kind of overtaken and ready to look at the exit, but it's a long way down to the chicanes, so you've really got to think about getting the nice smooth exit on the power, and hopefully you're ahead and keep it down into the chicane. So here on defence, on the exit of the corner here, coming in from this way, you really need to make sure that you get the good exit, because on the way in on defence you can run wide and they'll overtake you back on the exit. And at the start, this is where all the drama happens. 18 cars trying to get into here in one go, and anything can happen, so we just have to keep pushing and see. But this is where all the drama happens this weekend. And that's the art of overtaking.
The Adelaide hairpin is where a lot of the action will happen, yet there are many more areas where the race could be won or lost. On Friday afternoon, the gates were open for the drivers to do their track walk, vital to get a good feel for the racing line and runoff areas. This knowledge was then taken into Saturday morning's free practice. Chris van der Drift from Olympiakos posted some of the fastest lap times, showing that he adapted very quickly to the sweeps of Magny-Cours.
Chris van der Drift, Olympiakos.
Okay, so here we are, my lap at Magny-Cours.
Flat out, here we go, down start finish straight. Into the first corner, we're quite flat out here.
Fast left here, flat out left. Go through here, just touch the curb down inside, run out wide there, flat out again. A little bit hard braking into fourth gear, nice and long here. Sweeping right corner onto the back straight, and here you want to be flat on the gas again.
I've got a big straight here, a little bit time to rest. Watch that over, it's close on you with the super hard braking.
So here we are at the Adelaide hairpin. Probably one of the most slowest corners on the circuit after a big long back straight here at Magny-Cours. Probably one of the most exciting places to pass another car after using the slipstream in the straight or power push to pass. Great place for you to pass other cars during the race, and obviously a lot of drama happens here at this corner. Coming up here, the tightest corner on the track, down to first gear, all the way to the curb there. The exit, flat out again on the gas, up through the gears. Here you've got the first of the fast chicanes. You know, you've got to get a good exit here to make sure you carry your speed all the way through here to the chicane. Through the chicane, over the curves, both ways. Coming down again, flat out on the gas, braking hard, down the gears again to second, cutting in, making the apex a little later again so you have a good exit up to the other straight here.
Chicane up the hill here, down one go, over the curve.
Through here, on the curb, all the way on the curve to the exit here again. Again, flat out on the gas, and braking hard again, down to second gear. All the way to the inside, and slowly on the gas again on the exit. Get a good run here all the way to the curves on the outside. Again up the gears again. Going down here to hard braking down the hill. Down to second gear here as well. All the way to the curves on the inside. And again to the last chicane here. Over the curves, 1, 2. And there you are, onto your start finish straight again. And that's the lap of Magny-Cours.
The draw for the group stages of qualifying took place in the city of Nevers, and drivers chose either Group A or Group B, and Group B was looking particularly tough. Anderlecht, Porto, Beijing and Lyon all made it through to the next round, but Seville didn't after this accident, and AS Roma and Lyon had their best times disallowed for going too fast under yellow flags.
Because we improved on the yellow flag, and because that was the only lap I had, then we got thrown out. They disqualified that lap, and there's no other lap, so we're done.
In fact, Sebastian would just make it through on his second best lap, and going through to the quarterfinals from Group B was Tottenham, Milan, Olympiakos and Basel. The first quarterfinal saw Craig Dolby of Tottenham go up against Sebastian Bourdais. Great rivalry between these two, and Tottenham looked good.
Well done, mate. You turned him over. Beautiful, beautiful.
Next up, the two pole winners from the season so far. FC Basel up against Anderlecht, and it was Basel on top. Quarterfinal 3 saw AC Milan go up against Beijing, and this was a straightforward victory for Jelmer Berman. And quarterfinal 4 saw Olympiakos versus Porto. Parent locked the front, and that meant the win went to Olympiakos.
Yeah, you made it.
tension mounting as we approach the climax of the qualifying competition. Into the first semi-final, Tottenham up against Olympiacos, and Craig Dolby was once again on top.
Here comes Dolby, it's a 1:27.3. Tottenham is through to the final.
The second semi-final saw AC Milan go up against FC Basel. Jelmer Berman had the advantage through all of the sectors, but it seemed as though there was a problem for Max Wissel.
Best last sector, 27.4. Basel made a mistake. You have done a good job. You are P3 on the grid, so it's not too bad.
So to the final. Olympiacos and Basel were disappointed, but Tottenham and AC Milan were through. And was it a battle? The first two sectors went the way of AC Milan, but Tottenham were not about to give up. Craig Dolby was on a charge.
It's a 1:27.2. Here comes Tottenham. Can Craig Dolby take pole position? It's going to be so close. Cross the line, he's done it. Craig Dolby for Tottenham takes his first ever pole.
You did it! Great job, brilliant last sector, well done.
Yeah, that's wicked. My first pole in Super League. That's like a race win for me. To go through like that's awesome. I'm so happy.
Taking a look at the championship standings, Tottenham Hotspur are actually on top of the points at the moment. 48 points their advantage over second place FC Basel. Flamengo in third place. AC Milan a strong fourth and could threaten. And if you look at that group of teams from second place down to sixth place, Olympiacos, there's a gap of just 9 points between those teams. Further down the order, reigning champions Liverpool way down in 16th place, and Olympique Lyonnais with Sébastien Bourdais at the wheel. He's been out of luck so far. He's tied with Liverpool, both on 61 points. Starting up on pole position for the first time, it'll be Craig Dolby of Tottenham, and Abby caught up with him a few moments ago.
Craig, your impressive start to the season continues. It's just got one step better actually with your first ever pole.
Yeah, my first pole in Super League, so it's looking a bit strange from this position, and yeah, it'll be quite a nice race. I think Jelmer's going to be quick, so I just have to push from word go and try and get a gap and see what the race plays out like. But I'm looking good.
Craig Dolby looking good indeed. He starts from pole position. Max Wissel starting from third on the grid. There'll be plenty of drivers chasing the first win of the day. Race 1 at Magny-Cours coming up. Welcome back to Superleague Formula from Magny-Cours in France. The cars are on the grid in preparation for the first race of the day, and this is how they line up. Craig Dolby's on pole for Tottenham Hotspur. Jelmer Berman for Milan joins him on the front row. Then it's Max Wissel for FC Basel and Chris van der Drift for Olympiacos. On row 3, Alvaro Parent of Porto, John Martin for Beijing, Davide Rigon for Anderlecht and Sébastien Bourdais for Olympique Lyonnais. James Walker for Liverpool, Borja Garcia for Sporting Lisbon, then Frank Pereira and Marietta Velotta for Atletico Madrid. And as we get to the back, it's Frank Montagny for Bordeaux, Julien Jus of Roma, Robert Dornbos for Corinthians, Marcos Martinez for Seville, and at the back, Tristan Gomedy with the Galatasaray car.
Away they go then on the formation lap, and let's just remind you, it'll be a 45-minute race 1. There is a pit stop that they have to do. After 15 minutes the pit lane will open up and they have to change all 4 tyres, and that will be a very significant part of this race. We're getting ready then for the start of race 1 here at Magny-Cours. Round 3 of Superleague Formula. Craig Dolby for Tottenham. He launches it off the line immediately. AC Milan will try and chase him into the first corner, but it's Dolby who leads for Tottenham. Oh, we've got a car off already. It's the Basel car. Max Wissel straight into the gravel. He started in third place. Oh, and he's lost so many places. He's right at the back of the field.
Yeah, he has a long way to go now. Terrible, starting from third. It's very tight to go through the first corner side by side.
On board with Sébastien Bourdais. He's charging down towards Adelaide. Tottenham leads. Milan in second. Beijing in an excellent third place. John Martin's done well. Look at the battling going on behind. Lyon, Sébastien Bourdais in the white car with the blue and red engine cover, that's tucked in there, but he wasn't really able to take advantage. Anderlecht also, good start there for Davide Rigon, and he's up to, I think, 5th or 6th place. Beijing, though, the green and white car of the Australian driver John Martin in a good 3rd place. Tottenham lead, Milan in 2nd, Beijing in 3rd, and then the rest, Olympiacos in 4th place by the looks of things, and then this battle going on for 7th between Alvaro Parent in the blue and white Porto car and this car of Sebastien Bourdais. So he's got through the first few corners safely. Now he can focus on race pace.
Yeah, and Alvaro Parente is right in the gearbox of Davide Rigon, who's very competitive. So those 3 cars are competitive. It's going to be hard to make a move, but I think Sebastien Bourdais seems to be very fast. He was very fast in Imola and seems good on the brakes as well. They're going into the Lycée just now, which is the second from last corner, and then this is the last corner, the chicane, where they jump over the curbs. As you can see, the cars are bumping, and Bourdais pretty neat through there.
Interestingly, Dolby's not running away here, is he? Jelmer Berman in 2nd is staying with him.
Yeah, he's only 6 tenths behind, which is very, very close, and he's probably gonna try to have a look at where he can overtake, and here it's one of the opportunities, and he can use a push to pass. He's very close now, actually. He's right in the toe, but they're probably both of them using a push to pass, and he's defending. Yes, he's on the inside.
He's got past, but has he overrun? He might just stay in front. What's up to Dolby? Dolby's in trouble.
Downshift, he didn't downshift properly. Now he's back on it, back onto the power.
Watch the Tottenham car.
Yeah, he probably didn't have enough time to shift down to first gear. He had his eyes in his mirrors, lost a little bit of focus, probably locked the rear wheels, didn't go back into first gear.
Good move by Jelmer Berman, wasn't it?
Very good move.
So race leader is AC Milan. We're on board with him, but let's get down to the pits. Abby is with Max Wissel.
Yeah, I'm with an unhappy Max. You look pretty, I don't want to use slang language there, but seriously deflated. What were you saying? What was Günther saying to you? I know that you were hit from the back.
The problem was just, we spoke many times before we start, that we never quit between teammates. And I don't know what's happened. I was in front of him. He hit me with his front tire, so it means for sure I was more in front. Then he can attack me. So I know what's going wrong. I don't know.
2.9 seconds, and AC Milan has just set another new fastest lap. 1:28.1 by Jelmer Berman. It's impressive. Olympiacos 4th, Anderlecht 5th. Look how close this group still is. I don't know how many push-to-passes they still have available. When we saw the onboard graphic with Tottenham, Craig Dolby still has 5 chances. There's a little part of that graphic that tells you how many push-to-pass are still available. These guys still very close to one another, and there could be some changes before the end of the race. On board here with Sebastien Bourdais, still sitting in 7th place. Hasn't been able to make the progress. I sort of expected him to perhaps pick off a few in the early laps, but doesn't seem to have the pace to do that.
No, he doesn't seem to have the pace, but I think that the 3 of them are a little bit in a waiting position, waiting that to see what the others are doing with the pit stops, and when they will have clean air in front of them, they will just try to push harder to try to make up a position as the others are in the pit lane.
Now further down, AS Roma running in 12th place, Corinthians 13th, Galatasaray's got past Madrid. You're on board the Corinthians car with Robert Dornbos, and he's sitting behind Julien Jus. Jus has gained a bit of ground, the car just ahead of AS Roma, because remember, he lost his fastest time in qualifying and had to start way down towards the back, so he'll be fairly satisfied to have moved up to 12th.
As we're just seeing the Olympique Lyonnais team crew getting ready for the pit stops.
Tottenham's come in, so here we are on board with Craig Dolby, and they come in nice and early. He's got a brand new set of tyres. Now this could be crucial. He will be very fast on this next couple of laps because he's got a new set of tyres to use here. He saved tyres from the practice session. Lovely pit stop, new set of tyres I think as well.
Yes.
For Anderlecht, for David Rigon. He goes back on his way. So the new tyre advantage will tell over the next couple of laps, but you've got to try and avoid coming out into traffic. That's where it can hurt you. So out in front, it is still Milan, having taken the lead from Tottenham. Oh, the back end of the car moving more now, as you can see. And Tottenham did come out in traffic. He's right behind the Lisbon car, and he's going to go on the attack here. You can't shortcut the chicane, though, otherwise you'll get into trouble. And he tucks in behind. Well, we've seen Lewis Hamilton get into trouble for cutting that chicane, but sensibly, Craig Dolby decided to follow behind.
Yeah, no, you have to follow, otherwise if you overtake through the chicane by cutting the chicane, you have to give your position again. He's on the inside now going to Imola, and he makes it.
Oh, that was so important to get through now, to use these new tyres. Vital, and the leader's in. AC Milan also has a new set of tyres to use, so Jelmer Berman should be in good shape. Oh, a little bit slow, dropping the front. Oh, and he's got a car coming out. Oh my goodness, he's so nearly collected Beijing, but he holds him up, but not by very much.
No, and he had a brilliant reflex by braking again to avoid the contact.
Let's see where it puts him. He's still going to be in front of Tottenham as he comes out this long pit lane. Here comes Craig Dolby. He'll see the black and red car up ahead. He'll know that there might be a chance to close up, but AC Milan gets out back in front of the Tottenham car, and he should be up to speed pretty quickly here. That's the gap between the two that have so far been fighting for the win in this race, and AC Milan, despite the slow pit stop, have still got out ahead of Tottenham. Now Sporting Lisbon, the green car, holding up some of these guys who've had their pit stops already. Chris van der Drift wants to try and repeat the move that Craig Dolby did, but he can't. And Sporting Lisbon, because they haven't stopped, the tyres have passed their best. He can't go any faster than this, but he's not going to let anyone through because it's their job to fight a way past. And now there is an opportunity here for Chris van der Drift in the red and white car to squeeze past the Sporting Lisbon machine. Watch the other green car behind. That's Beijing. That's John Martin, and he'll also try and nip through on the inside. Might be a pit stop here. No, staying out. And Liverpool have come in. So Liverpool will rejoin in the middle of all this as well. Fastest lap in this race by AC Milan just a moment ago by this car, leading the race comfortably, a 1:26.7. That's a massively fast lap by Jelmer Berman. There's your second place car, the Tottenham machine of Craig Dolby, championship leader. Third, and the biggest gainer, if you like, from those pit stops, Olympiacos, Chris van der Drift, and fourth now Beijing for John Martin. Fifth, Alvaro Perez in the Porto car. Sixth place, Anderlecht, Davide Rigon. Then behind him, Liverpool, followed by Flamengo. Where is Lyon? There is Lyon. Another slow pit stop from that new team. Sebastian Bourdais has lost out again on the pit stops, and he's now down in 9th position.
Porto is right in the gearbox, and you see the toe is much faster.
He's on the push to pass, surely, as well. He's got a great chance here. He's diving around the outside, but Beijing holding the inside line, and he fends him off. Now he's going to cut back on the inside. Can he do it? Not quite enough. Yes, maybe. Oh, I don't think he's quite going to be there. Martin's going to push across. The Australian holds on for the moment. That's good racing.
I think Alvaro was probably still on the push to pass when he came out, but so much that he had wheel spin and he couldn't take an advantage back. Very good defensive drive from Beijing and John Martin.
Some of the hungry young lions that Superleague Formula is throwing up that are really shining. People like Jelmer Berman, like Craig Dolby, and indeed Chris van der Drift. Looking at Maria de Vallota here, she's up against Tristan Gomendi in the Galatasaray car. Remember, he had that horrible pit stop, and so he's way down. And problems maybe for Seville, I'm not sure. He's still going okay, but Marcos Martinez way down in 16th position, a little bit on his own, so difficult race for him. Here we are with one of those young, hungry lions then. It is Craig Dolby, just locking the rears slightly on the down change there as he turns into the hairpin. Gap between himself and the race leader, 7.8 seconds, and there is Jelmer Berman, who's still lapping incredibly quickly. His last lap was a 1:27.6. Watch his technique here, Bruce. How's he doing this?
He's doing V-style driving, which is very fast and deep into the corner, braking super late, carrying the brakes super far, stops the car, points the car out of the corner and straight back onto the throttle, which is what we call V driving style.
He's about to come up behind Seville to lap Marcos Martinez, which is pretty astonishing. Marcos has had problems in this race, and he had an accident yesterday in qualifying. Car had to be rebuilt around the front end. It was really just front suspension and front wing damage, but you can see how quickly Jelmer Berman is going here in the AC Milan car. Absolutely superb race he's putting together, and closing up behind Seville. There is second place car, 8.7 seconds the gap. It's a massive gap. Remember, these cars are all identical. It's purely down to driving style and, of course, how the teams engineer the cars. Little tiny differences. He goes through, laps the Seville car, very straightforward pass because Marcos gave him plenty of room. But it is down to engineering strength, down to driver talent in these cars. They are all identical, and today it looks like Jelmer Berman and the Milan guys have got this car absolutely right. Second place for Craig Dolby in the Tottenham car there, flashes through. Olympiacos still in third place, Beijing in fourth, Porto in fifth, then we've got Liverpool in sixth place, Anderlecht in seventh, Flamengo in eighth, ninth place currently for Lyon, and Bordeaux in 10th. Still this little gaggle of cars all fighting for fourth position. Beijing, Porto, Liverpool, and who has got some push to pass available to them? That's the question. It looks as though James Walker here on the Liverpool machine might well have used his last opportunity. Now, here we go then. This could be the last chance for Porto, for Alvaro Perez in the blue machine, to try and use his push to pass. Has he got one available to him? Will he go on the attack here as we get onto the long main straight? This is perhaps his last opportunity. He is on the push to pass, and he's going to close up to Beijing. Beijing moves to the inside. Down the outside comes Perez. Now, can he do anything? Beijing cleverly holding the inside line. No space there. And once again, John Martin. Great defensive tactics. He fends off Perez.
Yep. Alvaro should have braked a slightly bit later, but still, I think that Beijing would have released the brakes as well and just stick him on the outside to make sure he was not going to try to make the move. He wasn't going to be able to.
AC Milan are up front, 10 seconds ahead of Tottenham in second. Here comes Borja Garcia though. He's got some push to pass and he's trying to use it. Moves in, moves out, round the outside. Montagny won't let him do that for sure. But coming around this last lap, Jelmer Berman has been supreme, magnificent in this race, because he started from the outside of the front row. He managed to find a way past Craig Dolby of Tottenham. And ever since then, he has just stroked to victory. He has eased ahead every single lap. He's been dynamite here in race 1 at Magny-Cours. Into the final couple of corners, Jelmer Berman, driving for AC Milan, takes the first race win of the day. Milan won here last year with Giorgio Pantano. They win again. Jelmer Berman takes victory.
Very slow in that. Let everything cool down.
So the result of the first race of the day here, Milan taking a dominant win over Tottenham, Olympiacos in third place ahead of Beijing, Porto and Liverpool, Anderlecht in 7th, Flamengo in 8th ahead of Lyon and Bordeaux. 11th place for Sporting Lisbon ahead of Corinthians, Roma and Galatasaray. Madrid finished 15th, 16th for Seville, and poor old Basel failed to finish. It is Jelmer Berman who's the race winner, and Abby is with him.
Jelmer, congratulations, finally, fast performances equaling championship points.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, I mean, it's been a great race, what can I say? It was a bit lonely, but no, it's perfect. I mean, in the beginning I'm a bit quicker than Craig. And yeah, in the first lap I used my push to pass here, and the gap was a bit too big after the first couple of corners. Second lap I didn't have push to pass, and then the third lap I used it, and he blocked me, and first I thought, I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it, but then I made it.
Tottenham still on top, but AC Milan have indeed moved up into second place courtesy of that victory. Olympiacos are in third, Flamengo have dropped back a little bit to fourth, Liverpool have moved up a bit, they're up to 11th now ahead of Bordeaux and Lyon. Then we've got Madrid, Galatasaray, Corinthians, Beijing scoring some points there, and of course PSV not racing this weekend. Take a look at this flag. We have a very special flag this weekend. It is particularly significant in Superleague Formula, but why is that? Let's find out a bit more about it.
Superleague Formula is a unique series that hosts 3 races per event. The winner of the first race is faced with a massive challenge in race 2, an entirely reversed grid. So far no driver's been able to overtake them all to have a chance to win the Superleague hat-trick. The drivers of Superleague Formula agree. Whoever can do this is a true superstar. By autographing the hat-trick flag, they'll pay tribute to the first driver that achieves it. All on one single race day.
Yeah, the first person to do it's going to be very pleased, isn't it?
It'd be awesome to get a hat-trick. It's absolutely difficult to win all 2 races.
The trick is the second race to win it from after winning the first one.
I won the first race in Donington and finished third in the second, and was on the way to win the third race, but I had gearbox issues.
I think it's quite difficult because have to happen something to the other car. Maybe have to be rain, something like that, but if not, I think it's not possible.
The first one is going to do that will be the best one.
That flag is mine.
Makes it very difficult with the reverse grid to try and get a win from the back in the second race, but I think if someone's got true pace, they can do it.
On the normal condition, really, no way you're going to do it. No way.
need to be a very chaotic race, probably a safety car falling at the right place at the right moment, and then still enough push to pass for the final sprint.
If you win the first race and eventually win the second one as well, which is the hardest part, then the third one is going to be, you start from pole, so if you don't mess it up too much, then normally you should be okay for that as well.
It's quite hard to do, but it's definitely possible.
This is mine.
My name is on the trophy. Sunday, you'll see.
So can it be done? 3 wins on the same day. Max Wissel starts from pole position alongside Marcos Martinez. They're on the front row together. But for that trophy to be won, it's going to be AC Milan coming from the back to win this second race. Is it possible? Craig Dolby will be going for it. Stay with us to find out. Welcome back to Superleague Formula in France. The sun is shining, the girls are beautiful, and the drivers are getting ready for the second race of the day. Cars are on the grid. Drivers just feeling that adrenaline buzz as they prepare to race around this circuit Magny-Cours. There is a fantastic overtaking opportunity at the end of the first sector, down into the Adelaide hairpin. And we'll be watching for the likes of Jelmer Berman and Craig Dolby coming from the back. This is how they line up. Max Wissel for Basel, Marcos Martinez for Seville, Maria for Atletico Madrid, then Tristan Gomini for Galatasaray, Julien for Roma, Robert Dornbos of Corinthians, then it's Sporting Lisbon and Bordeaux. They're followed by Lyon and Flamengo, Anderlecht and Liverpool. As we get towards the back of the grid, it is Parent for Porto, John Martin for Beijing, and Chris van der Drift and Craig Dolby, with on his own at the back, it is Jelmer Berman. Up on pole position is Max Wissel for FC Basel, because he was victim of an incident at the very first corner that saw him go off into the gravel trap. He made contact, in fact, with the red and white car of Olympiacos. It's a sister team because they're both run by the same engineering crew, and there was the slight contact between them which put Basel out into the gravel trap. Now, Max Wissel wasn't too impressed. He thought that Chris van der Drift had made the mistake. Abby has since caught up with Chris. Let's see what he has to say.
Chris, we spoke to a very fuming Max Wissel during race 1, who was unhappy with you, his teammate, and how you took that first corner. What's your take on it?
Obviously, it's first of all, it's terrible for the team that two of the drivers crash out together. I was not trying to do anything crazy, and I was all the way on the left, and I tried to give him as much room as I could, but I couldn't drive on the grass either. So it was a pity for both of us, and most of all, especially for the team, I think.
I can't imagine it was a very pleasurable lunch between the two of you, but have you had words?
Yeah, we've talked after, and obviously you have to continue now because we still have a lot of the year left to race, and we need to work together as well, not to fight against each other now because of a silly thing like that. So hopefully, yeah, we just move on and carry on working together.
The cars coming through the final sequence then as they build up to speed gradually and get ready for the start of race 2. Maria de Valotta just slightly out of line. The race gets underway. FC Basel boots the throttle open and all of the cars head down into turn 1. FC Basel leads, Madrid up into second place, so Maria's up into second, I think. No, she's dropped back a little bit, and everybody fighting through that first corner. Nobody disappearing into the gravel trap this time, and it was a good clean getaway for Max Wissel from the front row, and indeed the battles for second. Maria being passed there by the Seville car of Marcos Martinez behind the Galatasaray car, also trying to charge, and here comes Corinthians, Robert Dornbos. Oh, he's crashed straight into the side of the Seville car, avoided Maria, and it's handed a massive lead to Max Wissel up front, and it's all gone off behind him. We thought it might happen.
Yes, he went from way too far, locked the two front wheels, and at the same time Craig Dolby's already making move on other cars.
Look at how Dolby is ahead of about 3, 4, 5 cars, whereas AC Milan has only got past one car at the back. Olympiacos, I think that was, so they didn't get away too well. But once again, Dolby is phenomenal on the opening lap of a race. Max Wissel's got the advantage, but Maria de Valotta, she will be holding them up a bit. She doesn't have the same pace as some of the guys around her. They're getting out of the car. Marcos Martinez, disappointing end to what has been a really rubbish weekend, to be honest, for the Seville team. It hasn't come together for them. Anderlecht up to 7th place, just past Lyon. Look at this little battle. Oh, Craig Dolby almost taken out in a battle for two others, and he's trying
he made a place around the outside.
He's got past Beijing, but now he's putting Sebastien Bourdais under pressure.
Yep, now he's going to be in the Tour. We're going to see if he's able to make a move. He's overtaken already 6 cars in the first lap, which is amazing, and going around the outside on the first lap. He's on the first corner. It's great. Franck Montagny defending on the inside, but Franck Pereira had a chit-chat with him. Craig Dolby on the inside of Beijing.
Yeah, John Martin's trying to get his place back, but Dolby's on the inside. These two are teammates of a sort, and they will not want to make contact. And Dolby's saying, come on, let's not fight each other too much here, otherwise we're going to end up losing places. Let's take another little look at this. This was the incident that caused the accident. That was Dornbos sliding down the inside, really out of control at that point, wasn't he?
Yeah, completely out of control. I think he wanted to do a hero move on the inside, but he could never stop the car. The car is super heavy with all the fuel in, and he just smashed big time into Marco.
Poor old Marcos Martinez was the innocent victim there. Dornbos has just made it back to the pits. Abby is with him now.
Robert, your season campaign is just not reflective of your ability and experience. You're out at the very start of race 2. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, this is a week to forget. Also for me, for myself, a championship start has never been this bad. We obviously struggle with the car, with the space, with the setup. On the grid, we made a final adjustment. We lowered the ride height a little bit, and that cut us out at the hairpin. I hit the brakes, nobody was home, and the car just didn't stop at all. So very unfortunate. Sorry for Sevilla as well. I took him out, and yeah, it's one of those crazy moments in life. I don't know, nothing seems to work. So hopefully Jarama will be better.
Meanwhile, more of this going on as well. Liverpool trying to fend off a couple of cars behind for 14th place. Olympiacos and Galatasaray, I think it is, down there. And still the two Frenchmen, Franck Montagny for Bordeaux, ahead of Franck Pereira for Flamengo. That's the battle for 5th position, the one you're looking at here. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th place for Lyon, Sebastien Bourdais, and then right behind him it's still Tottenham's Craig Dolby, who made a lot of places on the opening lap. Oh, and Dolby's under pressure from Beijing, and John Martin's gone around the outside of him.
Amazing move.
Incredible move, and a place we weren't, you said it can happen there, but we still weren't necessarily expecting it around the outside.
Yeah, around the outside was just amazing, and he kept the momentum, managed to keep the car on track. Beautiful.
Dolby must have been a bit surprised by that. He must have been thinking he was lining up Sebastien Bourdais for a pass, but John Martin is determined to score points for Beijing. Maria de Vallota still holding on to second. Here comes Julian Jus for AS Roma. He still can't find a way through.
That's amazing, and she brakes very well at the end of the straight. She stops the car well. Oh, Franck Pereira around the outside, and Franck Montagny. Oh no, they're going to be overtaken by the next car.
And Beijing must have used it on board with Bourdais. Beijing right behind, then Tottenham. So Craig Dolby having been passed by Beijing, it's John Martin who's the one who's on a charge. Up front is still Basil leading it out. Maria finally has does she? No, she gets past, but then she retakes second place. She's driving excellently here at the moment. There's David Rigon of Anderlecht. He's trying to get past Flamengo. Can't do it again. They're all being held up by Franck Montagny for Girondins de Bordeaux. And this is good action throughout the field. Now what's going on here? Oh,
pressures. Oh, takes off 2 cars.
He's taken out Montagny. There was contact with also the Flamengo car, I think, although he might have got away with it.
No.
Do you think that one as well?
He's off, yeah.
So 3 French drivers?
Yeah, 3 French drivers taken off
by
my goodness. Sebastien Bourdais. Not sure Franck Montagny is going to be pleased about that. He came out of nowhere.
Home circuit, and 3 French guys have taken each other off. Let's have a look here. Bourdais moves out of line, comes down the inside, locks up, swaps ends, and smacks straight into his 2 French colleagues.
Yeah, it looked like he pulled the handbrake going into the hairpin.
This is the onboard view, Bruce. Take a look at this.
He didn't brake that late. Oh, that's a bit strange what happened in terms of noise, because he went back on the power and just smashed the throttle to make sure the car was going to turn, but there was no room, there was no space. There were 2 cars there in the corner, and he went straight over them.
So we have lost 3 French drivers from this race in one single incident, and there's a smile, would you believe, on Franck Montagny's face. He's a bit resigned. The Flamengo cars made it back to the pits, but Franck Pereira is out of it. So well, it's a rather depleted field, but let's update you on the positions. Basel continuing to lead, Madrid in 2nd, Roma 3rd, Sporting Lisbon 4th, Anderlecht are now 5th, Tottenham are 6th from the back, remember. We've got Porto in 7th place.
There will be 7, all the cars will sit. All the cars will sit. Window is open, so don't worry.
So we are going to see people coming into the pits under safety car and using this period to take advantage of the fact that they can come in and change their tyres. This is a very interesting situation. All of them into the pit lane. It's completely changed the complex of this race.
The safety car has to remain on track. They have to rejoin behind the safety car, so they're going to get away with this one lap delay that they have.
What is going to happen here to Max Wissel? Well, he was leading before he came in, but he is now effectively right down the pack. He comes out with Beijing, with John Martin, who had already lost several places. He gets out just in front of that car. Let's get more reaction from the pits. Abby's with Sebastian Bourdais.
Sebastian, still luck is not on your side. What happened?
Oh, it's not luck. This time I just made a mistake, you know. When I hit the brakes, I locked the rear wheel straight away, and I couldn't stop the car, so I tried to avoid, but I couldn't go anywhere. It was Frank and bloquer les roues instantanément au freinage, je suis désolé.
Okay, well, Frank, come tell us what's happened. Well, okay, Sebastian, the anger there by Frank is that it's between French drivers as well.
It's between drivers, end of story. I made a mistake and I took two guys out, and I'm sorry for that.
So the cars are back on racing terms. Now what's happening up front? Well, Max Wissel, despite the confusion behind the safety car, is still leading this race for FC Basel, so he hasn't missed out. This is still going on. Nice little battle here for fourth place between Sporting Lisbon and Galatasaray, and it's the French driver we're on board with now, Tristan Gomedy. At least he was one French driver who wasn't involved in that incident earlier on that took out three of them. Craig Dolby still in the background for this group. Dolby sitting in sixth, and with a second place finish in the first race, Dolby definitely heading towards a position in the super final here. Across the line, FC Basel still with this comfortable advantage because the cars behind him are a lap down effectively. That's Milan in 9th place, Liverpool in 10th place, and then you've got Beijing in 11th place. Big time loser they were from all that went on. There is the second place car, AS Roma. So Julian Juste there heading for a potential podium finish here, chased by Anderlecht. So there's a good battle for second coming up here. Then this battle that's going on for fourth between Sporting Lisbon and Galatasaray. Oh, that was great stuff. Unusual place to overtake. The fastest lap for Milan, by the way. And this is how, this was the build-up to the pass for Galatasaray. That explains a little bit. Loss of momentum for Sporting Lisbon.
Exactly. No, he's using the push to pass.
Okay. So he had that bit more power?
Yeah, not flat through the corner because the corner was tighter, and into Estoril, nice and clean.
Here comes Tottenham, gaining another place as Borja Garcia actually got a wheel on the grass. Tottenham up into 5th position now, and remember, he started last but won. Here comes Craig Dolby once again.
Yeah, good move. Oh, Borja, very aggressive, always trying to make a move again on the car in front of him, but Nürburgring is not the place to overtake.
The art of overtaking, that's what he was telling us about, and he showed it off to great effect there at the Adelaide hairpin. Again, Roma in second, there's Anderlecht in third. Now this is good news for Anderlecht, clearly, because they could be on for a super final, chasing that €100,000. Meanwhile, Maria de Velotta's now under pressure from Alvaro Parent. Where's she going? She's actually tried to defend, and then she ended up having to just leave the door open, and she has been passed, so she now drops to 8th place. Porto up to 7th position. Meanwhile, the third of those Frenchmen to go out of the earlier incident, Frank Montagny, is with Abby.
Frank, we've heard from Frank Pereira, we've heard from Sebastian Bourdais. What is your take on that incident?
Just watch the video and you will have the same as me. I don't know. I mean, I was P5, he was P9, and he found a way to hit me, so really I don't know what happened. You have to ask him.
Who do you blame? Whose fault do you think it is?
You think it's mine?
I haven't seen it back yet.
Well, watch the video.
We think we've got a problem for Beijing.
Yep.
That car's not running properly.
No, he's in the middle of the straight, just cruising slowly. So now Alvaro Parente.
Parente is out for FC Porto. I don't know what's happened. He had just passed Atletico de Madrid. He was well ahead of her. The car seems to have just given up on him. Well, FC Basel failed to finish the first race of the day, but Max Wissel here is heading towards 50 points in this one, and indeed pulling off to the side of the road. John Martin in the Beijing car. We knew he had a problem. It looks terminal. He's out of the race, and again that will promote one or two others further up the order.
probably another lap because it's only 8 seconds, but they went through the finish line with 8 seconds to go, so there's another lap to do for FC Basel before the finish. Just for information, Galatasaray, Christian Gomendi, who was running in 7th position, just went back to the pits and just gave up.
Oh, that's a great shame. So Christian Gomendi, who was going very well in this second half of the race, but as we saw, he did have contact with Maria de Vallota earlier on. But this is the last lap of race 2. The second half has been a half full of controversy, hasn't it? We've seen accidents and incidents, cars taken out by other people's mistakes. We've seen cars dropping by the wayside. We've seen a safety car on track when it didn't pick up the leader. It confused the lineup. We saw pit stops that were almost chaotic because everybody came in at the same time. But through it all, the man who started from pole position, Max Wissel for FC Basel, kept his head when he could easily have got a bit rattled by that safety car situation. The 20-year-old did not let it get to him. He kept his composure, kept his cool, and he's now just got to finish the lap off here to record his first victory of this 2010 season. The last couple of corners coming up, and the Swiss team, FC Basel, are going to come through to take victory here in race 2 at Magny-Cours. Max Wissel takes the victory by a comfortable margin.
Easy win, congratulations.
Race 2 results, it's FC Basel that take the win by a massive 21 seconds from AS Roma and Julien Jus, and Davide Rigon scoring points for Anderlecht. But the championship leaders, Tottenham Hotspur, right up there in 4th place, ahead of Sporting Lisbon and Atletico Madrid with Maria's best finish. Liverpool finished 7th, ahead of AC Milan, Jelmer Berman. Galatasaray finished in 9th place, and Beijing classified as 10th. Porto a non-finisher, so were Olympiacos. Look at the list of non-finishers: Flamengo, Bordeaux, Lyon, Corinthians and Seville.
Congratulations, Max. Now, after you being the victim of an incident in race 1, you managed to stay out of the drama that was going on behind you to take a great win.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what happened exactly behind me on the start, because I was waiting for the push to pass to get it on the long straight, and was the reason why I didn't crash, so I think after. And yeah, after this was quite easy. Before the crash, before the safety car was coming out, I was really quick. So I think the victory is absolutely okay, not a luck victory or something like this.
We're ready to go for the super final here at Magny-Cours. Lights out, away we go, and it is Milan that makes a great start, but will Dolby fend him off? No, Milan once again, it's Jelmer Berman who makes a stonking start, and Craig Dolby drops to 3rd place.
Yes, another bad standing start for Craig Dolby. They really have to work on that because that's costing him probably 50,000 euros now.
That's right, 50,000 euros thrown out the window by not getting off the line properly. But he's now under attack from Max Wissel of Basel. That was a good start by Max Wissel because he was 6th, and despite being at a funny angle, he's on the attack down into Adelaide, and he's taken 3rd, has he? But Dolby's still there with him, and he's trying to come back, still side by side. Oh, Dolby's in trouble like he was earlier. Suddenly something went wrong, and he was slow out of the corner.
Stuck in 2nd gear again. I'm not quite sure he was there, but he looked like that.
Yeah, Liverpool, James Walker takes the place away. The 2 English Premier sides.
Oh, he's locked the wheel. Jelmer's locked the wheel. He's going to have a bad exit. And AS Roma just overtook Tottenham, who's back on the inside trying to re-attack, but no.
Meanwhile, Dolby just slides a bit on the braking into the hairpin. I don't think there's going to be any change, certainly in the top 3. I suppose we might still see a challenge for that 4th place before the end of the lap. But up front, AC Milan have made the break now, and Jelmer Berman is able to focus ahead. Roma trying to go around the outside of Liverpool.
Yeah, it doesn't work, but back on the power, he's going to be able to make it. Look. He's in the toe. He has to go inside. No, James is blocking on the inside.
Well, James is doing a sensible thing.
Yeah, it's very clever, James, the way he blocked. And okay, brake later, Julien. Yes, brake later, let the car roll and cut back in. Yes, that's it. Come on.
Now he's got the inside.
Yes, he knew it because on the previous lap he braked too early, and now he made the right move.
AC Milan come out of the final corner to win the super final.
Yeah. Well done.
100,000 euros. Davide Rigon finishes 2nd, and a brilliant drive by Julien Jus to take 4th ahead of Liverpool and Tottenham. An exciting super final, but the 100,000 euro prize goes to Jelmer Berman, to AC Milan, and for the 3rd time this season, one football club has won 2 races on the same day.
It's important to score points, and so my aim is to stay out of trouble. So some drivers take risks and they get into trouble, and I try to not take too big a risk.
After 3 races this weekend, Tottenham are still on top ahead of Milan and Anderlecht. Basel are in 4th place, and Liverpool have managed to get themselves up into the top 10. Outside the top 10, we've got Seville and the 2 French clubs still with work to do, Lyon and Bordeaux. Jelmer Berman has had an absolutely superb weekend here at Magny-Cours. Now he prepares for Jarama in Spain.
For sure it's going to be a little bit crazy because there's so many people going to be there.
Let's go to Madrid. Maria de Velotten, you're looking from on board her car at the moment.
I've been a lot of times in Jarama doing a lot of laps, and it's like my second home, you know.
So there's going to be a clash in the middle there, and it's Olympiacos, I think. Tottenham trying to get through.
I think it's a good track. It's technical, it's bumping, it's different to the normal tracks.
Wonderful, wonderful racing.
I hope to enjoy all the people and of course me.
This one was probably spectacular for what happened in the second race. Something I've not really seen before. And if you look at what happened in the third race, Max Wissel actually normally with only 50 points would never have made it, but the carnage in the second race, there he is, and he ends up with 3rd position. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we had a brilliant speed in the second race, so I'm absolutely disappointed that we couldn't finish the first. We lose a lot of points, but yeah, the money and 2 trophies are quite okay.
I'm sure we will gain some plans, but it will be difficult to be faster than AC Milan and Tottenham because they are very, very fast now.
The championship's so long and anything can happen, but just going to do our best and see what happens.
It's been a tremendous day filled with action and adventure here at Magny-Cours. From Ben Edwards, Bruce Giuani and Abby Griffiths, join us next time from Jarama in Spain.